Hello and welcome to the first of two sessions to celebrate and acknowledge Disability Employment Awareness Month. My name is Jillian Bradley, and I am the Co-Director of Employment Initiatives of Inclusion BC and the Provincial Hub Coordinator for the MentorAbility Project. I would like to acknowledge that we are all joining from different traditional lands across British Columbia. I myself is joining you from my home office, which is located on the unceded territory of the Cowichan people. For those of you who don't know about the MentorAbility Project, it is coordinated through the Canadian Association for Supported Employment and facilitates unique short-term mentoring opportunities between employers and people with disability. If you would like to learn more about MentorAbility, I will be placing the link to the webpage along with my email in the chat. I am so pleased to introduce Brandi England of Ignite Artists. She's with us today to support us in exploring a career in the film industry as an actor. Brandi has 4 sections to her presentation, and we'll stop after each section to answer any questions. So please put your questions in the chat. There is closed captioning available if you go to the bottom of your screen, and there should be a little box that says CC, and if you hit that, that will activate your closed captioning. Over to you, Brandi.
The agency that I work with is called Ignite Artists. We started it just over 3 years ago now, after a previous agency that I had started on my own just to represent 12 of my friends who felt like the industry was so crazy and complicated. And they just could never find an agent that they resonated with. And over years, I kept helping them get jobs in the industry or make connections that got jobs. And they were like, you should be an agent, ha, ha, ha. I never grew up watching TV. In fact, we didn't have one in our house. My parents believed in books, not television. So this was not a career I ever thought I was going to get into, but I also care a lot about mental health, and I'm on the board of 2 mental health nonprofits. And I believe that our young people need good influencers, celebrities, and things like that, because that's who they look up for to talk about mental health. And so I figured if I'm helping my friends get jobs, why not become a full-time agent and start an agency that works on representing people from all walks of life who are passionate about what they want to do, and then hopefully creating celebrity with them, and then they can pay it forward through social media, through talking back. And that's really what Ignite is all about. We really want to represent everyday people, real human beings, because like I said before, I love reading books. I love a great story. So I love epic films, and I want to help people that are passionate about this industry become a part of it and hopefully teach them about philanthropy. So we're paying it forward for generations to come through Ignite. So it's been 3 years of very hard work, especially during COVID. We were going really hard for the first year, and then the world stopped, and so did filming. So it was very interesting keeping a brand new company open during a difficult time, but it was a lot of fun. And we have a really great group of actors and people that work with us that are so incredibly passionate. They know that it's not easy to make it in this industry. So it's been really fun. And now we're emerging from, everything being shut down, and it's starting to open faster than ever. I can barely keep up some days, and that's a good thing because it means it's exciting and we're back rolling. So that's just a little bit about my history, the history of Ignite. And part of why I'm so excited to be here today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk and answer any questions, because it is a tough industry, and nobody should ever be told that their dreams cannot come true because things are difficult or complicated, or they're told, oh, you have to fit this box to be in this job. That's so incredibly untrue, and the industry is changing rapidly because movements like Black Lives Matter are forcing change, and we're proud to be a part of that as well. So thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it, Jillian. So first thing I should go through is what it takes to be an actor. Asking yourself the question, are you ready? I'm not sure, can anyone put in the comment box, are you interested in being an actor or a producer or a writer or a grip or a assistant director? Like, if anyone in here has something specific that they want to do in the industry, could you comment? I see Olivia, an actor, Pat, actor. Oh, hi, Pat and Bobby. Actress, awesome. That way I can talk directly about the certain things that everybody's interested in too. Awesome. So actors, excellent. Well, that's my forte. So I'm glad you all want to be actors. That's excellent. A lot of people start being an actor going backwards. Elizabeth, awesome. Yeah, triple threat, writer, actor, director, excellent. A lot of people start off in this industry going backwards because they see the things that everybody talks about. In the industry, for example, headshots. I see so many people that are like, I want to be an actor, I need a headshot. And they go and they spend $200, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 getting headshots, nice smiling headshots, which is great. But unfortunately, it doesn't point to the business side of what you need to do for the industry, because why would you get a headshot until you know, have a little bit of training, know the characters you're going to be cast for? Hollywood has kind of a narrow eye, and that's starting to open up now, which is a good thing for all of us. But they still do have a narrow eye because Hollywood is done by humans, and humans have different preconceptions in their head. I am a 6 foot tall, chubby redhead with crooked teeth and dimples and curls and freckles. I'm not the Lara Croft type. If I wanted to be an actor, the first thing, I'm not going to be like, I want to be the next Lara Croft. I know I'm not going to get cast in that. So knowing that, and knowing exactly my personality, how I come across to people, my look, how it fits the industry. Yes, you can break out of those boxes as you establish yourself and become a bigger actor. But at the beginning, it is about branding and knowing yourself and really putting together a package for the casting directors and the producers to see that you know who you are. Being an actor is telling another human story, being comfortable in your shoes and another person's shoes. So it's important to know all these things about yourself. So not spending the big money to get the headshots until you have some training, until you audition for some independent films, student films, until you go in some plays and things like that, and really learn who you are and develop yourself as an actor. Then you save up money to get the great headshots to show that character range. And I'm happy to share afterwards. I can always share examples of what a great headshot session looks like if you're looking into that. But don't get all that stuff up front. Don't spend all that money until you really start getting your feet wet. This is not a sprint being an actor. It's a marathon being an actor. It's a whole life pursuit. Doing a little bit of theater, growing and developing yourself at the beginning, getting to know who you are as an actor, what roles you're getting cast in, because it's how other people see you and the producers and directors. So really, really important not to spend all that money up front unless it's on training. But even training, you can get free training these days. So really important to know what it takes to be an actor and go about it in the right way. Having a profile on different softwares is essential. There's 3 major softwares that we use here in Vancouver and pretty much all of North America. Casting Networks is the first one. It has mostly commercials in Vancouver, but they are starting to post some feature films and things like that on there in Vancouver as well. Casting Networks is North America wide. Well, it's actually worldwide now. They launched the new software a few months ago. So we're seeing projects that are in New Zealand, Australia, the UK. It's really cool. We get to see projects 2 years in pre-production in the making and see what they're looking for, which is so cool. It's really neat. So Casting Networks is a great place to start. You just create a free profile on there. You can upload 2 free photos, 1 free demo reel. And if you don't have demo reel, we can talk about that later on how to get free demo reel so that you're not spending an arm and a leg again. And then you put in your resume, and as you build training, you just add the training in there. And then you start self-submitting to smaller projects. And that's how you start to build. So Casting Networks is the first one. Casting Workbook. Casting Workbook, unfortunately, doesn't have a free option. It's $10 a month, no matter what. But it is actually the slowest of the 3 softwares right now in terms of jobs we're seeing in Vancouver. It's busier in Toronto, but not so much in Vancouver. And then there's Actors Access, which also has a free excuse me, also has a free version. And that one has a ton of independent films, student films, smaller print modeling and commercial opportunities that you can self-submit to even before you get an agent. And that's how you build your resume and your demo reel and get to know the different projects that are coming out. So looking through those 3 softwares, getting to know them, creating a profile on even the 2 free ones is a great way to start, because you want to, if before you get an agent to be an actor, you want to be able to have a great pitch package, and those 2 softwares allow you to have a complete package with everything you need, because it literally is like checking off boxes of what you require. So those are great places to start. And then self-submitting on those softwares, again, that helps you build the free demo reel. It helps you audition for various projects. Maybe you submit yourself for 100 roles in a year and you only get 10 auditions. You can look at the end of the year of all the projects you've submitted yourself for and see, wow, I submitted myself to play a police officer 20 times, a lawyer 20 times, a doctor 20 times, a homeless man 20 times, and a cashier 20 times. And I got 10 auditions for 5 for lawyer, 5 for police officer. So you kind of know what your package is presenting to the world. You're like, oh, I've submitted for 100 things, 5 different types of roles, and I only got auditions for 2, which means that the producers and the casting directors feel like you fit those 2 boxes really well. So that's a really great place to start, because it teaches you how the world views your current package. Doesn't mean how they view you, just the package that you're putting together to present yourself. Then once you know that and you have those complete profiles, then you can start looking for an agent. It takes a lot. And so I want everyone to know that it's not impossible, but it takes a lot of work, because there's so many people that want to be actors, especially with social media these days. Maybe 20 years ago, everybody knew all 5,000 actors in Hollywood. They knew what roles they were, what characters they played, what level they were at. Now there's 1.3 million people wanting to be actors currently active in casting network software worldwide. So that's a ton of competition. So you really have to get the right training, get the right headshots, build a great demo reel, build that resume. So you have to commit with your whole heart to this in order to keep pushing forward, because you're going to get more rejection in this industry than anywhere else. And people take it so personally, but it's not. There's just so many projects out there and so many actors that want to fill those spots, and so many people that bring different things to the table. So it's tough, but you can do it. So let's open up to questions based on that first section, if that's okay. Oh, I see one already. Awesome. Awesome. Bobby, sorry, that question went away. Where'd it go? How long does it take to become an actor? So that's a great question. It's pretty tough saying that, because it's not one of those things that, it's not like a doctor where, you have to go to school for 7 or 10 years and then you achieve a certain level, or you go to college for 4 years, get a degree, and then you get a job in that. I think when you become an actor is the day you decide you want to become an actor. It's the day that you go, I'm going to spend the rest of my life honing my skills, auditioning for theater, creating your own stuff. That's what's so great about these days. You can buy a camera or even just use your phone at home with a friend and create great scenes. You can write your own scripts, film your own scripts, put them on social media, share them with the world, enter them into film festivals. You don't need a director or a producer or a casting or an agent to tell you that you're an actor. I think the day you decide, that's it, I'm going to become an actor, then you need to start booking the jobs. Obviously, once you get paid to be an actor, that's that's the real I'm a professional actor, but it's almost something that's also in your heart, not just on a piece of paper, a check. So it takes a while to become a working actor, and some people, I'll be honest, never become a working actor. They just don't realize the ins and outs of the business, or they're unrealistic about their look or their talent, or they just don't push hard enough. If I were an actor, if I woke up tomorrow and decided I was going to be an actor, I would be on every software every day, self-submitting, looking over all the projects that I've self-submitted on, and asking myself, why do I not, why did I not get in the room for that? And sometimes there's no good answer for that. Sometimes we've had actors that have got an audition, a callback, a director's coaching session, and then they've been dropped from the show. And they're like, what did I do wrong? And I'm like, there's nothing you did wrong, but they cast a girl to play your sister, and a man to play your dad, and a woman to play your wife. And all 3 of them had blonde hair and blue eyes, and you've got brown hair and green eyes. So they just decided it didn't fit. They think you're a fabulous actor, but they just don't fit. So there's so many little factors that determine who gets the booking for certain things. So you can't be hard on yourself if you don't get it. The audition is the win, we always say. So if you get an audition, it means you have a great package, then you show up for yourself there, and that's the best you can do, and that's all we can ask from people. I see a couple other questions have popped up in the chat. I'm just going to go through. What kind of free training is there? So what I would suggest doing for training is looking up all of the schools in your local area that do acting, whether it's online or in person. Most of the schools, even the coaches, will let you audit a class for free. Just reach out and say, hey, I'm an aspiring actor. I want to learn about scene study, for example. I hear your school has a great scene study program, so it's important to do your research as well. And then say, I'd love to come and audit a class, or I'd love to audit a class on Zoom. And that way you get a free class and you go, oh, I knew that already, or wow, I didn't know that, I need more training. There's so many free workshops as well. Even on YouTube, there's like probably 100 or 200 casting director and agent talks where people have been interviewed in the industry. Clubhouse is an amazing app as well, where you can connect with people in the industry. There's all these different rooms in there that are casting directors, producers, and there are people in New Zealand, for example, that you can network with. And you build that respect and that relationship with them, and you show up for yourself all the time, and they take notice. And maybe they invite you to a class. You can also pitch yourself. You can have like a photo, and maybe you do an audition tape, a 1-minute monologue or something like that, and you share it and you say, look, I'd really love to attend your school. This is currently where I'm at. And you send them a package and you say, where would you see me fit? And then they may offer you to audit a class for free. Yeah, lots of good ways to find free classes and workshops. But at the end of the day, the best stuff, most often you have to pay for. So it's good to start saving up for those as well. But there's lots of free options out there for the beginning stuff. And as you go through the basics, there's scholarships and things like that as well. And you can apply for grants and funding. But I would start with the free stuff. I would start auditioning for theater, doing some theater at the beginning too. That's a great way to start training, because it's TV, you do one quick audition, you film, that character's over, unless you have like a recurring guest star in a bigger role. But theater is great because maybe you rehearse 30 times and you get to do character development 30 times. So that's cool. I'm just going to go through the other questions. So great question, Olivia, about the networks. If you don't have headshots and things like that at first, there's several ways to get free headshots as well. You can either just find a friend, find a blank wall behind you, and make sure there's really good lighting on your face. Like even here, if I turn, there's like bright light behind me. So there's a little bit different shadow and things like that. So you just have to play and have a friend take a good photo of you. For commercials, you want a smiling photo. For principal work, which is film and TV and theater, you want a non-smiling photo. I don't know why they like serious faces for the film and TV. And you can do that with a friend or on Facebook, Instagram. There's various Facebook groups and things like that. Geez, sorry, I'm just turning my phone off. It's going crazy. There's various Facebook groups and things like that with aspiring photographers that are looking to build their portfolio. And our Instagram, we actually give away like free headshots once in a while. We do competitions and things like that where we ask people to talk about why acting. So we did like a 1-minute competition. We gave away a $9,000 package a few months ago, and we're going to do more things like that as well. So you can follow people in the industry because they do giveaways sometimes. So that's a great way to get packages for things like free headshots and all that. And then the Facebook groups, it's called Trade for Pick, I think it is. It's TFP groups. And there's models and photographers that will do like, I'll model for you if I get the photos from the headshot photographer, and photographers looking to build their portfolio that say I'm looking for models and actors. So you can connect with people on there. You just have to vet the people before you meet up with them to do headshots, because not everybody's on there for the right intention. So it's really important to do your due diligence and search, but you can generally get free headshots or modeling photos that way. And when I say modeling photos, a lot of people think of like skinny Giselle Bundchen, 5'12" walking down the runway, but print modeling is regular everyday people just having a cup of coffee at a coffee shop and things like that. So those are the photos that work really well for commercials as well, because it's just showing people in their natural habitat. Let me go through the next one. Share all of the apps. Yeah, for sure. I can definitely write up like a little 1-pager or something with a list of them. There's Casting Networks, Casting Workbook. So they're two different ones, but they sound very similar. And then the last one is Actors Access. And I can definitely get a list as well. Those are the 3 main ones. So that's where I'd start. See if there's another question. Jordan, being able to sing and dance. I mean, yes and no. Any special skill makes you unique. Anything makes you unique. It doesn't just have to be singing and dancing. There are trends in the industry where people like to watch certain shows. For example, when Game of Thrones was out and Vikings were out, everything was kind of like that medieval, and everyone was very much into that. And so actors that, fit that look, could do those accents, were getting a lot of work. One of my guys who can juggle, he was on 3 shows in 1 year because there was a lot of carnival scenes pre-COVID. So he got a lot of work. Then COVID hit and there were no carnival scenes because there were no big groups. So he got 0 auditions for like a year and a bit. That's the reality of this industry, because his profile was based solely on his juggling and fire breathing and all that kind of stuff. So we got really cool circus roles before the industry shut down with COVID. So that's when he went, okay, now I need to get some new special skills. So constantly developing your special skills is really, really great way to help you stand out. And special skills can be anything. Yes, singing and dancing we do see more of, because it's in a lot of musical theater. There's shows like, ever since Glee, Pitch Perfect, It's Always Extraordinary Playlist, shows like that have had a lot of musical stuff. They actually just did a remake of Brigadoon. I don't know if, I think it's on Amazon Prime right now. It's called Schmigadoon. And it was a TV show based on Brigadoon, the theater. So they were looking for people to sing and dance. So yes, it does make you a little bit more desirable for certain projects, but so do all other special skills. And special skills can be anything from, playing basketball to cooking to sign language. Anything that you have that might be different than the person sitting next to you makes you unique. And that's what film and TV is looking for, real people to tell real stories. Olivia, if you want to be an actor but are isolating, can't drive, should my main goal be to get driving, then work on? So right now, all of the auditions are self-tapes. There's a couple where you have to actually go in to do an audition. But right now, everything's via tape. So from the comfort of your home, you can do audition tapes to be a part of a production. And then they will fly you in if they want to put you in the show. They'll bring you in, set you up with a hotel, get everything that you need. So I wouldn't focus on the driving so much. Just keep working on your acting, show the world who you are through your tapes. That's a strong place to start for sure. Yeah. Pat, should Bobby be self-submitting? So yes. I think any actor should always be self-submitting as well. The agents only see the bigger jobs. We only see the TV series, the movies. We rarely see any of the small stuff, because the softwares have so many big projects, and that's where our focus is TV and film and theater, the big stuff. And so on our Actors Access, because there's an Actors Access for agents and an Actors Access for actors, on our Actors Access, we see the big projects and actors see the smaller projects. So self-submitting on the smaller projects on Actors Access is really, really recommended. As well as Vancouver Actors Guide. There's some great paid projects on there. I'll jump on there sometimes to submit the actors on some of the smaller projects when I can, but we're generally so busy with the bigger stuff pushing. It's always good for it to be more of a team collaboration and self-submit on the smaller stuff. I agree with your comment, Pat. And Heather, do these apps have work for? Yes, absolutely. One of our young ladies is in a wheelchair and was just on a show. One of our gentlemen's in a wheelchair. He's triplegic, but the most incredibly comedic, fun actor. And he never even thought of acting years ago. But then I said, come on, let's do this. And he's been in a short film already that was really great. It was actually a script that was part written for him because they wanted to include him in the scene. And he was a security guard chasing bad guys down. And it was a blast to watch. And he made it his own, and it was beautiful. We have, I've worked with so many actors with different disabilities, and there is work, but again, there's so much competition out there. And so I've had actors, for example, I have an actor that has a very specific disability, was pinned for a role, which means she auditioned, she went to a callback, they really liked her. She was pinned, which means she's on hold. It's not 100% confirmation, it's on hold. And then she got released, and she goes, it's because I'm in a wheelchair, isn't it? And I said, it's definitely not because you're in a wheelchair. I promise that's not the reason why. The reason why was something completely different. They ended up changing the scene, and she was upset, and she thought it was her, and it was, like any actor experiences a lot of rejection, it was not her at all. It's just the scene changed. They rewrote it. It happens to everybody. How do you make your own tape if you've never made one? So there's several ways to do that. You can write a scene or find sides from a previous recorded TV series. I would encourage you not to find ones from something that's very well known. Like if you recreate the scene with Rose and Jack from Titanic that everybody knows, it's hard for them to see you as an actor because they're remembering the very well-known scene. So finding something that's a little bit more obscure or writing something yourself is great. finding a couple of people to film with, say it's a scene of a husband and a wife in a fight, finding somebody that can be your partner in that scene, having someone film it with a good phone camera, even in lighting. It's a great way to show what you can do. Those are called self-tapes. If you don't want to do that, then auditioning for student films and independent films from schools like Langara College, Capilano, like all of the different schools, Vancouver Film School, New Image College, they all need actors. And so you can audition for those. You don't get paid to be in it. However, you get the demo footage to use after for a demo reel. So I would do both of those things because it's a great way to show different characters and show that you can break out of the box of whatever box Hollywood might currently see you in. So another question, Heather, how do you find an agent for disabled actors? I've not had luck to date. It depends on what your package looks like. I don't know any agent that would say, oh, I don't work with actors with disabilities. I don't know anyone that would say that. I think you just have to have a really strong package. So knowing that we have between 10 and 50 actors apply to work with us every week, and we already work 12 to 14 hours a day, you really need to have a really strong package. That's very, very important. I'm going to jump back to my list of what we were set to talk about, because I think some of these questions that are coming up, I'll be able to answer in the next portion, then we'll do questions again. So I'm just going to close the question window and go back to my list. I just want to make sure I don't forget anything important. Okay, so the next part is the business side of the industry. Yeah, it's just as important to know the business side of the industry as it is to develop your talent. The first part I'll talk about, because of the question that you just had, which is great, thank you, is finding an agent. There's 127 licensed agencies in Vancouver, or sorry, in British Columbia. There's over 400 across Canada. Some are good, some are not. You have to do your due diligence and research all of the ones that interest you. I would go to Creative BC has a list of all the agencies. Vancouver Actors Guide has a list of all the agencies. The Mother Guide is on Employment Standards BC because it shows you which of those agencies actually have an agency license and are supposed to be representing people. The 3 softwares vet agents. For example, Actors Access, I had to have 3 casting directors write letters saying that yes, Brandi England is a legitimate agent, her agency is a legitimate agency, and we will accept submissions from her. So there's certain agencies that can't get that, the ability to represent actors on Actors Access. So asking those questions, once you start looking at the agencies that you like, and then you meet with an agent or you send an email asking, you know, it's really important to know that. When you're pitching to an agent, you should have a complete package. It's kind of like starting backwards pitching to an agent without a complete package. And that's why I say being an actor is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You really have to be in this for the long haul. You have to know exactly why you want to do it. Realize that it's going to take a lot of time because there's a ton of competition right now. And there's a lot of TV and film, but there's not that many roles compared to the amount of actors that are out there. So, you know, you really have to create a very strong package, send it to 10, 20, 30 agencies. Sometimes you do have to sign with a smaller agency and a newer agent at the beginning. Maybe you do, for 1 year, you get to know what that feels like. The great thing about British Columbia is Employment Standards mandates that even if you sign a 1-year contract or a 3-year contract with an agency, at any point you can get out as well. So you can sign with an agent and test that relationship out. And then if you're not happy with it, you just say, hey, thank you, it's been a good time, but I'm moving on in life. Have a nice day. And you give the agent 30 days to wrap up any submissions or bookings. So always know that you're never stuck. In Ontario, agencies can charge like a $600 startup fee, but in BC, no agency is allowed to charge you anything. So always looking out for agencies that may be fraudulent too, or trying to charge you things, or telling you have to get headshots with this person because it may be a friend of theirs, you know, and they're saying that, but they're not the best headshot photographer. So asking those questions, doing your due diligence, Google searching the agencies, going through the list of accredited agencies, doing your research, finding out why you want to work with a specific agent. Like, this is a massive partnership that you're going to embark on in your life. So you want to do your research. I would say to people, if you went to school to become an investor or a banker or something like that, would you just walk into the first bank that you found and look for a job? No, you do your research and find out which is the best bank, learn about it, and then make a calculated pitch so that maybe you can enter not just at the bottom floor, but a couple levels up from that. It's the same kind of thing about finding an agent. So creating a really solid package, knowing who you are, branding yourself, telling them, hey, I looked at your IMDb, the International Movie Database, and it shows the agency and how many actors they represent, the names of the actors, what jobs that they've booked, who they've worked with in the past. Maybe you go through it and you go, wow, Ignite Artist doesn't have a 5'2" redhead that can juggle. And so that's your pitch to that agency. Hey, I'm a 5'2" redhead that can juggle, and I noticed you don't have that actor on your roster. I would love to fill that spot for you, because we don't get paid. We don't get paid from anybody. The productions don't pay us, casting doesn't pay us, actors don't pay us. We only get paid if we book our actors jobs. So we're looking to fill holes in our roster because we want a couple of this, a couple of that, a couple of this. So finding your niche is a huge word that I always use with my actors. Finding your niche and then showing that package of why your niche works for somebody is a really great way to pitch to a good agent. And they'll see that you understand the business side of the industry, so that they can't ignore your pitch. Unfortunately, though, if we get 50 pitches a week, we can't read them all. Sometimes we don't even have time to go through them all, and there may be a perfect one in there. So you just have to keep pushing. I had a gentleman ask me to represent him 6 months ago, and I said, I'm sorry, your pitch was beautiful, but I'm just so busy. If I take on anyone else, I won't do a good job for them. And I said, maybe in a few months. 3 months later, he emailed me and said, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm still really busy. And then 3 months later, he goes, okay, it's the 6 months mark. He's like, I'm here. I've taken more training. I've got new headshots. And I was like, okay. And so I brought him on because he clearly wanted it so bad that he was willing to work that hard just to get an agent, that I wanted to represent him because I feel like he deserved it. He showed up for himself. So sometimes it does take time. That's why it's like all about being patient and just continuing to build. Yeah, so that's how to find an agent. Getting to know casting is really important as well. The casting directors are the ones that work between the agencies and the productions. So the production will say to a casting director, they actually bid on them. It's kind of interesting. They bid on some of the jobs. So say Jurassic World 17 is coming out and they're looking for actors. What they do is they will put out, okay, we have 3 months to find 40 actors. 5 of them are lead actors, 10 of them are supporting, and the rest are fillers. And the casting director will bid on it and say, okay, I'll do this for $50,000 or something like that. And then they have 3 months to audition as many people as possible, find the right ones that they feel fits, go into a room with a production company and go, okay, I've got these 10 people to play your 5 leads that I feel are great. Then the production company will go, okay, I'll take these two, these two, these two. Let's do a table read. Sometimes they'll have a couple people come in and do the table read. They'll get to know them, see if they're the right people for the job. So the casting director needs the agent to help actors get a really good package together, show who has the right training for the right job. For example, there's different types of TV shows. If you think of Schitt's Creek, for example, which is like one of the Canadian ones out of Toronto, that's a great comedic sitcom. And if you've only done dramatic acting on stages for theater, you might not be the best fit. You have to kind of prove that I've taken a sitcom training class. I've done comedy. I've done a lot of improv. And improv is the #1 thing that I would suggest everybody do. You can do it from the comfort of your home. You can do it on Zoom. You can do it in person. There are free improv groups at parks and things like that. Drop in improv for $10. Improv is one of the greatest things for actors and just humans, I believe, because you have to think on your feet. And that's what acting is sometimes. Somebody else will say a different line and you don't want to break character, but you want to know how to respond back to that line. So improv is something that I think every agent and casting director looks for on an actor's resume. So do your research on the casting directors. Again, going back to the bank analogy, if you're going to apply to the big 5 banks, because the banks is who's going to hire you, very much like a casting director for an actor. If you're going to apply to the big 5 banks, why not know which casting directors in your city cast for roles that you could be a fit for? And then do your research on them. Follow them on social media. Don't comment, don't say, hey, hire me, all that kind of stuff. Just watch and learn. It's all about taking your time and learning. And maybe they'll post information on there about a project coming up and you can fill that void. And it's really getting to know the casting directors. There's there's only 20 or 30 casting directors in Vancouver. There's about 10 for background, 10 for commercial, and 10 for principal. So there's not that many, but it's really important to do your research on them and get to know what they're looking for. The last thing I always say, and I try and teach this to everybody, is there's like a golden rule of business. And it applies to actors as well. And a lot of people don't think about it. So I'll use the analogy of McDonald's. McDonald's is successful because it has 3 very specific needs that it fills for humans. 1, we have little time. 2, we have little money. 3, we're hungry in a hurry and we're busy. So those are 3 like human needs that we all have these days. So how does McDonald's fill that void for humans? They have fast, quick food that's not that expensive. So the golden rule is, how can I best serve the person that I want to work with? So if you think of an agent that you want to work with and a casting director that you want to work with, and then you think of the golden rule, what do agents not have a lot of? And what do casting directors not have a lot of? They have a ton of pressure put on them by the higher ups to get the right people. So what do they not have a lot of? They don't have a lot of time. And so the best thing you can do as an actor is, instead of sending, I had a young man apply to me just in the last week. He sent me over 500 text messages over the weekend asking me questions. I finally said to him, you don't understand that this is not the appropriate way to do this. I need 1 email with just what I need. And he didn't like my response very much, but unfortunately, I also have family. I also sleep. I also take time off for my mental health. And so having that perfect package, knowing that golden rule, is what's going to get you the right agent and get the casting directors to go, this person respects my time. They respect the industry. They respect that this is a profession. A lot of people have been told, especially as kids, oh, that's cute, pat on the head, you want to be an actor. Oh, that's cute, pat on the head, you want to be a dancer or a singer. All of those things that aren't the traditional jobs, we all get the pats on the head that says, how sweet. Nobody ever really thinks this is a career and I have to put in the time, the energy, the money, the training to make it come true. And I think a lot of actors like kind of have that ingrained in them that, oh, there's no way that I could do this as a career, so I'm not gonna treat it as one. But you have to. And again, it goes back to that golden rule of, who do I want to work with? How can I save them time and money? And then putting together that great package and sharing it with them. Casting will love you for it. Agents will love you for it. And then it's trust. Then at the end of the day, after you've done that and you find an agent, you have to sit back and trust, because we do work really hard, because we don't pay our bills unless we get bookings. So if an agent has taken you on, it means that they really believe in you. They realize that you're the right person for the job. But also, I have some actors that have been with me for 3 years that have never booked a single thing. And I've probably spent a half an hour to an hour each week submitting them for different projects, and they've never booked a single thing. It's not on the actor. It's not on the industry. It's not on me. It's just the process of all of this is really crazy. And there's niches and times when people get in the room. And so you really do have to kind of sit back and trust that your agent is working hard for you, checking in every couple of months saying, hey, I got new training in this, or hey, I just filmed this self-tape for an independent project. I'd love to share it with you because I'm proud of it. So they get to learn about it, but not bombarding them every day or every week with emails asking a million questions. A lot of people ask me things that are Googleable. And I love that I love that they think I know everything and can answer all of their questions, but unfortunately, we just don't have the time. If I spent all my time coaching, I'd never make a dime and I wouldn't have a roof over my head, because we do have to pay our bills with booking. So that's our main focus, is booking, getting people in the room, helping them get stronger with their auditions and booking. So again, it's all comes down to time and trust after you find the right agent and get to know the casting directors. I'll pause again just in case there's new questions that have come in. Do you have a certain way, Josie? Do you have a certain way? Do you have to look a certain way to get cast? No, they cast real humans in different roles. Again, it's just going back to finding that niche. If you have a niche, push that, push exactly what your thing is. Because that's what, you think of like a baker, for example. There's certain cultures that pop into your head when you think of a chef, right? An executive chef or someone that makes the best cheesecake or chocolatier on earth. You think of Swiss, French, that you go right there. So if you have that look, it's great to, develop those skills, develop that jargon. Maybe you want to work on the Good Doctor. So you get a headshot with, like a nurse scrub, or a like white doctor's jacket and looking like an authoritarian. And maybe you learn big words that they use in some of these shows and just get used to that jargon, so that when that opportunity does come along, you're ready for it. So you don't have to look a certain way, but just finding that niche. And then once those opportunities come up, you're the perfect package to fill that actor's spot. That's what's really important. Next question. Pat, when placing a demo on those sites, do they need to be a file or link to YouTube? So each site is different. Casting Workbook used to let you upload up to 400 megabytes, I think. They changed it about 2 months ago and asked everyone to upload YouTube links. So it's important for you, once you have your profiles on these softwares, I feel, to log in once every month or two and double check that everything's still where it should be. A lot of actors expect their agents to do all of that. But at the end of the day, I say to my actors, would you rather a person who has to manage 50 actors a day be in charge of every tiny detail on your profile? Or can you, the actor, take hold of your career, log in and make sure everything is correct? Because there's sometimes software glitches, because sometimes there's, you accidentally uploaded the wrong thing. We had an actor upload a pretty non-professional singing in the bathroom video by accident to their demo reel, and the casting director called me and went, Brandi, I don't think I'm supposed to get this file. And I didn't see it because they'd sent it directly. So it's really important to log in once a month and upload those. And double check that everything's correct on your profile. So yeah, each site is different. Actors Access, you have to pay to upload it. Casting Networks allows one free 4-minute video to be uploaded as your demo reel. And Casting Workbook now does viewable links. I believe it's YouTube, but they might do Vimeo as well. So just something to look into. And then Olivia, when you apply for an agency, do you need those proper headshots? No, but it's a great idea to have it if it's part of your branding package. I would include that. That's why I say it takes time. You can start with the free ones, but you may not get a good agent. But again, it's more about filling that niche, that void, for me personally, than how perfect the profile is. But any actor that signs with me that doesn't have good headshots, because it's so competitive these days, I would say you should invest in it. I can actually, if you even go to Google image search and you type in headshot, it'll show you thousands of headshots, right? Now pretend you're a casting director and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of headshots on one page, and they're all about this big. Look at the sheet from outside of yourself and go, which ones stand out to me? Which ones catch my eye? Because if a casting director gets 500 headshots for every single role, I can guarantee you they're not looking at all 500. They're looking at the ones that stand out and fit that perfect niche of what they're looking for. It's like reading a book and then watching a movie that's based on that book. I don't know if anyone on the call read the Da Vinci Code, for example. I read that book, Professor Langdon. They were like, oh, this hot, good looking professor. And in my head, I had this like really good looking guy. And then all of a sudden the movie was Tom Hanks. And not that Tom Hanks isn't handsome or one of the best actors in the entire world or somebody I really adore, but he just didn't fit the image that I had as a book reader in my head. I was like, whoa. Like they had described him completely differently. So that's what's happening with casting directors. You may get a script or see a character breakdown and go, I'm perfect for that. But a casting director has read the same script and seen in their mind, because of their preconceptions of people and society in the world, oh, this is what I'm looking for. They have to be this. So it doesn't mean that you don't have the best headshot. It doesn't mean that you're not the best trained or the most qualified for it. it's what another human being has in their head. So again, it's really nice to have strong character headshots that show a lot of range. That way your agent, as they submit, can actually pull that and pull that photo and push the right one that fits kind of the description. So no, you don't have to have professional headshots to get an agent, but it is a nice way to level up for them and show them that you're taking it very seriously. But again, you need the training first. You need to know your niche first. Don't spend the crazy money on the headshots until you know all of that and can really build a strong package. Last one, it would be nice to connect with other actors on this call to help support each other. Totally agreed. I would suggest creating even a Facebook group if you can. You could have like an Inclusion BC Facebook group for actors, and then everybody could join in there, and then you can share self-tapes, share auditions. Maybe you want to film a scene with somebody to create a demo reel. It's all about creating a community, right? I think that's the best way to start. Awesome. So how the industry works, I'll jump in there before any more questions. I don't see any new ones, so I'll jump to the next section. How it works, how the industry works. Let's go there. It's different right now. Previously, you'd have a profile, your agent would submit your profile for casting requests. The casting director would say, yes, I want Bob and Tom to come in. And we would schedule the audition time. And then the actor would go and meet the casting director in person, do an audition, maybe get some coaching feedback from the casting director to redo the audition in like 2 minutes. Like they give you very quick feedback and you have to redo it. And then you leave. And then maybe 2 or 3 days later, the casting director would say, hey, I love Tom. We've pinned him for the role, or hey, I love Tom. I want him to meet the producer. And they'd go back in for what's called a callback or a recall, depending on where you are. Toronto's recall, Vancouver's callback. And you meet with them and maybe they give you more coaching notes, or they've changed the script and they want to see how you take it. It depends on the size of the role as well. And then if they really like you, they send a contract to your agent, we negotiate, we sign it, and then you go film. Now it's all self-tape, which means agents are working 10 times harder than we ever have, because now we have to get the tapes from our actors, watch them, give feedback, get them to retape, send it back into us, compress the file, label it, and upload it off to casting. So that's why you want to have really strong tapes too. So taking self-taping classes is great, especially if you can't travel a lot. Like for the person that asked earlier about traveling, it's great now because you can, from the comfort of your own home, show the world your talent. We have people auditioning in New Zealand, in Ireland, in Atlanta for big films that are right here in Vancouver, and they don't have to leave the comfort of their home. So it's an exciting time because it means more people can get seen. But that also means there's more competition being seen. So you have to take this whole industry with a grain of salt. Contracts, the contracts are really important that you do your due diligence and read through them. They can be quite large, especially right now during COVID. Some of the contracts have 40-page starter packs, it's called, that comes from the production that gives you all the COVID protocols for each show, literally everything you need to know. So it's a lot. And some people go, I'm just gonna let my agent read it and sign it. We are human too. I need to stress that more than anything. I make mistakes sometimes. Sometimes I miss something that's in there. The fine print, sometimes it's like size 8 font. It's really important to read through everything because your contract is what gets you paid. It's what gets you that credit. So you want to make sure that you've gone through everything and made sure that you're protecting yourself and reading all of the requirements and things like that. Especially for commercials. For example, if a commercial airs in Canada, you get paid what's called a buyout, a chunk of money, like $10,000, 1 day of work, you get paid $500 for the work day. Then when the commercial airs, you get $10,000 check. Imagine if that commercial also aired in America and they didn't tell you, or you didn't read in the contract that it could air in America for free. And then all of a sudden you see it on NBC News nightly and it's got an audience of 5 million people and you're not getting paid for that because you didn't read through the fine print. So it's really important to read every single thing because maybe your agent can then get you another 10 grand for the US airing one or 20 or 30 because it's a bigger audience. These things do happen. So trust is really important, but also doing your due diligence, because I don't think most good agents aren't trying to scam anybody. They're working hard and they believe in you and want to help you be successful. But at the end of the day, we do make mistakes. There's a lot going on. For example, if we've been on this call not too long and I've had 7 missed calls, 3 text messages, and we've only been on with each other for about 50 minutes. So you have to realize there's a lot going on, and I won't even check my email because I'm scared. There's a lot going on. So it's really important that you do your due diligence and protect yourself there. Going on set and set etiquette. There's a lot to know. The biggest thing is you have to remember safety first. There's so many moving parts on a set. There's big crane booms swinging around, trailers, cords everywhere. So being very careful, knowing these things, moving slowly, not being exhausted, not being hungover, any of that kind of stuff. It's really important to be very aware of your surroundings. It costs productions $50,000, $100,000, $300,000 a day to film. So not having your cell phone on you, because if it goes off and makes a loud noise, you've ruined a shot that might, might have cost 10 grand. You never know. So there's a lot of pressure coming from the top. And so being very aware of the set rules, and that's what you usually get in that starter pack I mentioned. That'll all be included in there. Not talking to other actors unless you're in a scene with them. Some people are method actors and they're in character and they're in their head and they're here. And if you're like, hey, Bob, it's nice to see you. Remember, they have anxiety too. I think it actually, bringing up Tom Hanks again, I remember him talking about doing Captain Phillip, I believe it was. And he knew he had to go in for this really intense scene. And all he could think about was, oh my gosh, am I going to let down 100 people on set that are all being paid to watch me do this? So there's a ton of pressure. And sometimes we look at celebrity and actors like, oh, they're big. I can, I'm so excited to see them. But you have to remember they're there to do a job too. So there's a lot of on-set etiquette that's really important. Now, talking about being on set with a disability, you have to be honest with your agent from day one what you need. We may be ignorant to your needs, right? If we haven't been in your shoes, we might not know exactly how to protect you, how to take care of you, and what you require. So it's really important for you to say, look, this is what I need. These are my fears. These are my hesitations, so that we can let production and casting know, because they do take really good care of people, but they can't guess. Everybody has different things that they require, and we need to be very open and honest. And again, that's why it's so important that you trust your agent. If an agent brings you in for an interview and you don't get a good vibe from them, don't be with that person. It's a huge thing. This is it's like a marriage almost. You're going to be partners for years, and they're trying to help you grow your dream. So really important that you trust. And then let them know of what your requirements are so that we can let production know. And that way you're not on set and feeling awkward trying to talk to strangers on set about what you need.
Thank you, Brandi, for such a fantastic presentation.
No
You've definitely given everybody a lot to think about.
Sorry if it's too much.
No, it's such a big sector. There's just so many pieces. So I think what I'll do is I'll kind of put together some of the notes that you touched on and send that out to everybody who participated today. So this session was recorded, and we will post it on the Inclusion BC website if you want to go back and watch it again, because you may have missed a few of those excellent points that Brandi made. And the next session with Brandi is on October 6th, and it will be at noon as well. I put the registration link into the chat box. And if anybody has any questions or comments that they would like to share, you can send me an email, or you can also save them for our next session. So thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you all have a really wonderful day.